take a look at this. Typhoon Hinnamnor passing towards the south of Okinawa, but on radar imagery, a WSR-88 radar courtesy of the U.S. Air Force, giving us high resolution look at this storm, that core of the inner eye wall right there. You have the outer eye wall, which winds likely still up at over 100 miles per hour in that. And then closer to Okinawa, some of those outer rain bands, which they are kicking on by, and occasionally we are seeing those gusty conditions with some of those bands, but well removed from the destructive core in the center of this storm at this time. So, it looks like this is going to continue to track towards the southwest, really missing Okinawa as far as those destructive conditions. But once again, just a big shout out to the Air Force for having that out there. This is Velocity, by the way. Same tool that we use in the United States for tracking tornadoes. And I want to point this out because right here, radar estimates winds sustained over 150 miles per hour. So, I mean, yeah, I know we all prepared for this storm system. There was a little bit of a worry a couple days ago that it could near Okinawa, but it looks like it's going to be staying well offshore. And if that core of the wind did come on shore, I mean, we could see a repeat of this. Remember this from Jello almost a decade ago now. Anyways, yeah, here's a look at satellite imagery. Whew, I mean, we're still seeing the rain bands push on by, which it cannot be any joke. If we get some of these tropical storm strength conditions still Wednesday night and early Thursday morning, I still 100% suggest just hunker down inside, let this kick on by towards the south and the west. It's going to still linger out here south of Ishigaki and Miyako-jima before eventually churning back towards the north. So let's kind of break this down and talk about what we're seeing here at this time and what we can expect. So wind speeds of 195 miles per hour sustained according to JMA, pressure down 920 hectopascals. Not a weak storm by any means. Minami Daito, Kita Daito, I should say. There's two different Daito islands here. Winds were reported as this pushed on by 174 kilometers per hour gust. That is a new record for the month of August, and that's actually technically part of Okinawa Prefecture. So you could say Okinawa got hit by a typhoon here, albeit it would be the Daito Islands, and they are about 5,000 people there. They're 100% prepared for these storms. They live basically in bunkers out there because they get hit so often. As this moves towards the south and west, expecting it to linger there, and due to upwelling and eventually get some shear in it, this is going to start to weaken as opposed to north to north. Now, weaken is relatively, it would be going down to about a category 3, category 2 type of storm as opposed towards the north, and also the wind field's going to start to expand too. So despite it tracking north and starting to weaken, Okinawa might actually see the higher winds on Sunday as it moves off towards the north and towards the west. One reason for the fact that it is kind of hooking south, by the way, is because of our other tropical depression. There's a little bit of a Fujiwara effect taking place, and that basically is when you get two tropical lows, they almost dumbbell around each other, forming a weak area of high pressure in the middle, named after famous meteorologist Fujiwara, who kind of coined this phrase. And yeah, you just seen this kind of happen, and yeah, this is a clear case of that taking place with this area towards the south kind of lifting up, almost getting swallowed into this area, by the way, and then allowing Hinnamnor to kind of drift further towards the south and west and linger there south of Miyako. Now, this is Miyako-jima right here. We got Naha, and then you got the Amami Islands back towards the north. And watch this as it kicks off. Pretty much likely going to be kicking right over Miyako or close enough to it, and then pushing back towards the north. And then look at this, though. This is Sunday afternoon through the evening. Likely going to be seeing the highest winds for Okinawa at that point, where we actually very well could see good tropical storm strength conditions. Not quite damaging as long as the storm stays towards the west, but, as we've seen, forecasts could change, especially when you get a storm stalling out. So that's something I want to continue to keep an eye on. By the way, big thanks to Chris for sending these videos too out there in Okinawa when the storm was approaching yesterday. Some very large waves out there. This is there in just off of Urama. And off the east coast there, some pretty decent waves. So thank you very much, Chris, for sharing that. Hey, how about this, though? As we go ahead through Wednesday into Thursday, look at the winds just back off. Thursday and Friday, you got Labor Day plans. Outside of some breezy conditions, you're probably going to be A-okay there for all my military friends. But watch this as we go ahead through Saturday into Sunday. Our storm passes towards the west. Those winds really do start to pick back up on the west and southern portions of the island and eventually kicks back off there towards the north. But yeah. Hey, waves are also big. If you're a surfer, it's going to be some dangerous rip currents here. And if you're weak at swimming, you definitely would want to stay out of the water. I mean, that's goes without saying, I think. But I have to say it because sometimes people just don't think. Storms passing south of Okinawa, breaking the conditions through Saturday after this kicks on by, but the winds are for sure going to pick back up on Sunday. Those are the main points I wanted you to take away from this update today. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. Also, big thanks for everybody on Patreon who continues to support this channel. I mean, I can't thank you enough. Got Roy, just signed up here recently. Got a few other people I got to add on there too. I mean, I truly appreciate it. All right. Also, I have a separate update on what's going on in the Philippines. Inflow around the storm, kicking up some heavy rainfall there for you into Region 1. Just want to continue to keep an eye on that too as well. All right. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. And number one thing, as always, is stay safe out there. I know I kind of geek out a little bit on this storm because it's offshore. But if this was making landfall right now, it definitely would be a different situation. I'd be very, very serious about this. And a lot of people might be disappointed. Maybe you got prepared or you were ready for a full-on typhoon. But been through these storms. They're no joke. You should be happy that, the core of it stayed offshore. We still got Saturday and Sunday to get through. So it could get pretty messy over the weekend.